Well, I've had to spend more time at home. That's changed. But yeah, your life now. You guys are tethered to the child
No,
24/7.
I still
anyway.
wake up, go to work, come home. Same routine.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
How about your commute?
What?
Your commute.
Yeah, I find myself waking up later and not really caring when I actually arrive to work.
Because nobody notices anyway. They're just so happy you're there.
Right.
That's totally mine too. They're like, oh, thank God you came in today.
My barista is still open, so yeah. So I still got my
Wait a
coffee.
minute. No. Your coffee bar or your barista? Because doesn't that mean something else entirely?
Right.
Is your barista still open, Jay?
She's still there. What I found out funny is yesterday, now you cannot pump your own gas in Oregon, but starting today, I went to the gas station in Washington and they have an attendant.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Oregon is always been full service, but yeah, it's the attendant in Washington. Was that required? I don't remember that being part of the order.
No, gas stations are doing it so they stop the spread of germs. So only one person touches the pumps and then they clean them. So we have attendants now where Oregon got rid of their attendants because they don't want the attendants to spread.
You're right. A different solution to the same problem. Dude,
I just like how on the same day they both went the opposite way.
Like, anything you can do, I can do better. Oh my God. That's fucking
yeah, that's kind of weird today when I had an attendant come up to me. Like, pump your gas for you, sir? Like, what?
That's why you should shoot him.
Well, that's what's funny about Oregon, because when we went to the Lego store and over there, they actually charge you now for bags. Bag, they charge you. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, okay. And they said, well, I need a bag. They go, well, which size bag do you want? And I go, like, whatever this will fit in. They go, well, that's going to cost you like 25 cents. I go, what? So what we're going to do from here on out is just bring our Lego bag, go to like the Williams-Sonoma or something, and make them put it in the Lego bag, and then walk out of a Williams-Sonoma or a nice place with a Lego bag and just, screw them. It's just a weird. I go, is this a tax?
Right. But
no,
you can't,
no, it's
but
not.
You can't put the bag down because it's a plastic and the virus might be on the plastic.
And it doesn't biodegrade. How many more things can we add on to this?
No, this was before that.
I am really curious, though, think about it this way. Somebody pointed out on a show that I was listening to the other day that what is the lingering effect of 9/11? There's only really one lingering effect of 9/11, and that's having to take your shoes off at the airport. That's it. That's the only thing left. And that's just become a part of our society. You just go in assuming you're going to take your shoes off. So what's going to be the thing that comes out of this? What's going to be the thing? Are we going to all start wearing gloves all the time? Are we going to stop shaking hands, please? Are we going to, what do you think is going to change, if anything?
I think, we talked earlier, I think more businesses are going to just keep their people at home and save the overhead.
Yeah.
Because they can do this. I actually had a friend who said that their company went and bought laptops for everybody to work at home because of what was going on, so they could still stay in business. And I thought, well, okay, that's cheaper than keeping the place open, electricity, water, et cetera, through the roof that these companies have to put through. I can see a lot of companies just deciding to keep their people at home.
Yeah.
So it'll be cheaper.
Earl, what do you think is going to come out of all this Corona stuff? Anything permanent to our culture?
I don't know. I mean, the whole social distancing thing is, to me, kind of wonderful. Driving back and forth to work.
But we're also all in committed relationships. What about those people that are still hunting for one?
Well, I mean, you think about it. The whole dating scene for the last, 10 years has been predominantly over social media. Why should that change?
Wait a minute. How do you know that?
I think what Earl's saying is AIDS is now over.
Right.
What, AIDS or age?
Coronavirus kills us faster. And it spreads easier. Like, okay, coronavirus has all the negative stuff that AIDS had back in the 80s. Remember, everybody freaked out. They don't want to be near a person with AIDS. They don't want to eat the same restaurant as a person with AIDS. And they're like, AIDS doesn't work that way. And then here comes coronavirus. Here's one that works that way.
We're literally just watching a series called Pose, which is about the AIDS epidemic with the drag queen ball community. And dear God, I'm looking at what they're talking about in the series, and I'm going, holy fuck, this is what people are talking about now.
Yeah, it's all the same. It just
it's ridiculous. It is literally ridiculous. It is.
That article that I posted a while back about Gen Xers, it actually says that in there. We as an age group have been around long enough to see this shit rotate 2 or 3 times, and we're kind of in a weird position because we're such a small generation. We got the boomers who refuse to fucking die and retire, and the millennials who are chomping at our heels because there's not enough jobs for them. And I remember when we were kids, what they tell us: you guys are going to have no problem. All these jobs are going to be open because the boomers are all going to retire at 60 or some shit, or 50 even. And no, the fuckers will just not go away. So, Jay, what do you think might be a lasting cultural thing that comes out of Corona?
Well, nothing.
Breath, nothing. Okay.
Because here's the thing. I don't care anymore. Just don't.
You're dad. You gotta care.
Right.
No, not really, because he's an old dad.
He's an old dad. I'm gonna die anyway.
No, I just who knows?
Well,
the
may
thing
I
is,
add something?
Is nobody's going to be nicer. Nobody's going to be more tolerant. The sad thing now is, if you go to the grocery store, like nothing's there. So it's just going to be more delivery, everything's going to be automated. It's going to be more
Like
back
Japan.
in the future type stuff where
Yeah.
pizza delivery is going to be, through drones. We were headed towards that way anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of going to be more like that. Everybody's turning into shut-ins anyway. That's what the whole technology group is. You just said it. As people do Facebook and doing this, as their jobs is the norm. This just pushes us more towards that faster. That's all.
Yes.
It does. So,
I have to admit, this is the first time in my lifetime that the government has come down and said nobody works, stay at home for the most part, and only select people have been allowed to work. Which, coming from the military, I'm used to being essential personnel.
Yeah.
And now that I'm not, and I'm comfortable, I set myself up pretty well for what's going on right now, to the point where I have months worth of food sitting around just because this is the way I am. But the overall, to watch people that are not prepared for this, that will be losing their houses around me, and I know that's going to happen. There's more coming than what we're talking about now. But when you're talking about what do I see, I think it's the overall ease to be able to tell people you don't get to go anywhere anymore. Not today, or not this week, or maybe for a month. Because I've never seen a complete shutdown of everything.
Well,
Ever. They didn't do that for AIDS. They didn't do that for a lot of stuff.
No,
and this is what gets me.
Shit, they didn't do that for 9/11.
Here's the beauty of it, though, is every single fucking governor, practically in every single fucking state, is saying this, right? Don't go anywhere. Nobody's enforcing it, but yet the general populace is kind of doing this for the most part. And I see that because when I'm commuting back and forth to work, when I have to go back and forth to the base, it is night and day as it was,
I've noticed that too. Yeah.
So nobody's enforcing this shit yet.
Well, there's no cops on the roads to do it. We heard a cop drive by earlier with a siren. I assume somebody sneezed somewhere.
Probably.
We live in an age where you can hold up a bank with a booger.
Yeah,
and I talked to some of my
this, but yet the general populace is doing this. So what does that tell you? What does that say in today's society?
The bigger issue is these states, some counties or whatnot, are openly coming out saying, my law enforcement will not be enforcing lower end crimes.
Yeah.
And I talked to some of our
as a lower? I want a list. Like, what's a lower end crime?
They don't say. And I talked to some of my LE friends. They said, yeah, it's true. And I said, you realize where this is what's going to happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which is why I have to put a sign outside of my house that says, nothing in here is worth your life. I mean, we're getting to that point.
Yeah. Dead inside, big sign.
I do have coronavirus. Whatever.
Yes. I saw a picture of a business the other day with a sheet hanging from the window says, "I assure you, we are open." You remember what that is from?
Right. Oh, what's that?
It's from Clerks. I assure you, we're open.
Yeah, that's right.
And I just, oh my God, I thought it was hilarious. I think that the predominant thing that's going to come out of this is a combination of what Jeff is talking about in terms of working from home and the social distancing thing. I think that our interactions with each other is going to change. I don't know if we're going to take up bowing or just the finger. I don't know. We'll do that anyway. But I think it being okay to say, I don't want to shake your hand, or no thank you to that. Nowadays, and as all guys and all military guys know this, what's the first thing you do when you meet somebody new? You and your girlfriend or wife run into another couple. The girls know each other. They introduce you and the guy. What's the first thing you do?
First hug.
Shake, hug.
Yeah.
Well, Earl,
Really
we're not talking about that.
We do.
Right, we do. But
I kiss each cheek.
Yeah. And that's gonna have to change. It's the weapon is no longer the solid weapon that's in your hand. That's what the shake came from, to show that there were no weapons in your hand. The weapon is now microscopic, and I'm wondering if that's going to change.
And it's all about the fist bump now, or the elbow bump.
Yeah, I can do the fist one. I elbow one. I can't. I can't do that. That's. I feel like we're doing patty cake. Remember that when we were kids?
Yeah. No, actually, you go back to what you're talking about. It's the old school, or the whole salute. It's all the I'm unarmed, right?
Well, let me ask, how excited are you about oil crashing? Gas prices are down. That's great. But guess what? Got to leave the house to go see it. So,
Jeff, I want to acknowledge right now that Jeff is in a unique situation of the four of us, because you're the person who's getting hit hardest by this. I mean, the rest of us are all kind of mandatory employed. Like, we can't, if we're getting slayed off, the world's fucking coming to an end.
Well, you know what's funny? I spend, when I say YouTube, I'm not playing. I've been watching bush pilots. Some reason I need to be a bush pilot now. I don't know why. And two, I go and I look at all these like, I'll look at Sam. She'll hear me go, oh. And then she'll go, I'm making dinner tonight, or I got lunch. I've been making shit like crazy. And then I'm like, you know what I need? I need a bigger cutting board. And I need one with grooves in it so the blood or whatnot filters into that.
Right?
And this is my world. And now I'm sitting there and I hear something outside and I'm like, that's not right. Oh yeah,
you're kind of that way already.
UPS or Amazon's dropping something off. Oh, put the gun away. Okay, they're not coming for me. So this is what I live in now, and it's been fun, and yet
I bet it's been fun,
and yet very awkward, because the amount of texts I get, and Sam can attest to this. I get so many texts, people panicking about what's going on. What does this mean? I go, where are you getting your info? They tell me, and it's always a credible source. And I said, well, let me tell you the whole story. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Jeff's out school and everything.
And the sad thing is, she's probably getting texts from the fucking base.
Oh, yeah. Get those too. We'll talk about that.
Offline.
Nothing there. That's the thing. There's nothing there.
No, there's more. This world, our country survives on a media, both sides, that loves to instill pure panic in people.
Yes.
It's the only thing that sells. And then I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, I haven't heard from you in years. Are we going to live? Yeah. Why are you asking me? What's going on?
You seem to be the kind of guy who would know.
Yeah. And they're like, well, what do you think I should do? And then for a while there, it was, I'm going to the gun store. Do you own a gun? Yeah. And then they asked me, what kind of ammo should I get? I'm like, you own a gun? Why are you asking me?
Nobody asked me this.
Oh my God. No. These are the texts I was getting for 2 weeks in a row.
I want you to save these. I want you to save these, take the people off of them, and make a list of all these crazy texts that you get. That'd be great.
So then, I was at work.
But I've become quite the good chef.
How you've been?
I was at work. I was on my way to go,
Clearly, he's making me fat, people.
I'm sorry, Jay's telling a story. Go ahead, Jay.
I'm gonna go buy a gun today.
You want to buy a gun?
I come back, and then I had this average Seattleite, guy walking in my office, and we're listening to like the school closures and stuff, and he's like, "So what do you think about this?" And I looked at him, I was like, "I'm gonna go buy a gun today." That's what I decided about an hour ago. You own any guns? No. And he tells me about his wife, and like he just went stocked up. I said, "All right." And you don't own any guns, right? He goes, "No, my wife will never allow guns." I was like, "And you got like all this food and stuff?" "Yeah." "Where do you live?" Like he just wasn't getting it. Like he's like, "Here, what?"
Hang on. How do you spell that? 34th Street.
Hey, look, all the bad guys need. I put all the indicators outside of my house. American flag. That's it. They know what's going on inside that house.
Oh shit, he's a Trumpite.
Well, but true story is they did a survey, or they went and talked to inmates, and they said, of all the houses you pick out there, which ones do you not go into? And they said ones with flags. And they said, why is that? They said because the person inside is most likely armed.
And that's legitimate. I'd say that's a reasonable assumption at this point.
Yeah.
I can say. Well, I don't have a flag, but I have guns. So although I don't have any automatic weapons, But to be honest, Amber and I were talking about this the other day. I'm not worried about the virus. Okay, the virus. No. The stats on the virus is most of us are going to live anyway. Frankly, we could use a little thinning, whatever. But
agreed.
Yeah,
the Thanos experience.
Yes. There you go. Yeah. They just made a movie about
it. The stupid roll itself out.
Right. And I agree. It's going to go away. It's the societal impact that's concerning me. And I'll tell you this. Amber, of course, not a gun person. Totally against it. Like, not okay with it. I have antique firearms. I've talked about this before. I've got a loaded 38 on one end of the house, and I've got a loaded Winchester on the other. And the kid and the wife both know where they are and where to go if somebody comes in the door. That's pretty much the extent of our protection. However, with all this going on, I've got Amber pretty much convinced that I need an AR-15.
Yeah.
So
my daughter's drawing me one.
So I was shocked by this. Like, we're having dinner and we're talking about this, and I've actually been pretty stressed out about a lot of this stuff. Going to work and knowing you guys knowing what I do, and the barrage of things coming in, it's like, holy shit. First off, my work partner and I, Theron, who Jeff has met, and I are just grateful to be employed, And secondly, we're the only ones who keep showing up to work, so we're doing a ton of work, even though the work's kind of slowing down a bit. And yep, sure enough, you're good at what you do and you get more work. But so that aspect of everything is going okay. But I've been kind of a wreck. I've been kind of just uptight about everything. Not that I'm scared or that I'm really worried. I'm just tense about it. Tension finally hits me after 3 or 4 days. And usually it results in a nap, which was this afternoon. But I literally, we were talking the other night, and I said, "Are we prepared? Are we prepared for somebody to come in the house and try to steal our fucking toilet paper?" And I realized how I sounded when I said that, and I was only half kidding, And I said, I think it's time for me to start making a better. She was talking about a bug out bag. She was talking about, shit we grab on the way out the door, and we had this weird conversation that you guys and I have had, but not with Amber. And it was such a bizarre situation that's when I started thinking about things that are going to change temporarily and the other things that are going to change permanently. I'm just wondering what those might be.
Well, here's the other thing, and I have to say this. I've really learned who looks at who in situations like this. And the amount of people that, this isn't me, whatever, that have reached out to me like, what do I do? What do you expect? Blah, blah, blah. I'm starting to realize, who do I look at? And mine is a very close core of people that I actually know, like you, currently too. I know that
we still love Earl, even though he's in the bathroom again.
Just wear a diaper, Earl. But
no full dates.
The amount of people that have actually reached out to me makes me realize that I'm the guy they would go to if something bad was happening. So it's weird to find out who contacts who in situations like this, or who, you find out who's the panic, who's not prepared, a variety of things like that. And I've had to, I look at Sam and I'm like, relax, because you can see stress building in people that I worked with at the yard driving school buses. Probably half of those people will not come back. I talked to Ozzy, and he said they laid off half their people at C-Tran.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Half the people are gone. So, how many of these jobs are going to be there when these people come back? Just a whole gauntlet of stuff. There's some stuff that concerns me, but the overall is not too much concerns me, because I've yet to find that moment in my life where I'm concerned about something, especially with what's going on.
Jay, I have a question. You being the one with the youngest child, how has that situation changed in terms of daycare? What's going on there?
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. Literally, nothing has changed in my life at all.
Well, like, we haven't seen Sam's kids in 3 weeks now? Because we're not going to let those dirty heathens come over here. Fuck that.
Why do you think we're doing this now?
They can watch it on. They want to see us. They can FaceTime.
Right?
No, I mean, Trina's down here for like 3 or 4 days with her parents and stuff, just to kind of make sure all the olds get handled. But nothing's really changed. I mean, really,
that's true. It's true.
Well,
because I mean, that's just. I mean, she was working from home anyway, so before this.
That's true. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
My situation has changed a little bit because of my family, my extended family, down 2 hours away in Sweet Home. My grandmother's in memory care, as you guys know. Memory care is on lockdown. I haven't seen her or spoken to her since the last about 3 weeks ago when this all started. In fact, my sister and I might have been the last people that walked in there and walked out again. But my sister's heard from them and she's doing okay. So that aspect has changed, and that's a good thing. I try not to be. I'm trying to be positive, but I'm also trying not to be narcissistic about it, because some good stuff for me has come out of this. It's slowed a bunch of stuff down because I've been dealing with new job, my grandma's stuff, all this legal mumbo jumbo that we have to do with the banks. I've got to do their annual report. I've got to do all these other things, and I was getting really overwhelmed. And this allowed me to step back for a second and go, oh, let's slow down for a second. Let's concentrate on learning my new job. Let's get this other stuff taken care of. So I'm trying to take advantage of the fact that things have slowed down. We've kind of slowed to this beach community kind of speed. And that's the thing I'm hoping sticks. Like, it won't stick entirely because this country's built on must consume. And it looks like girls crying. So I'm hoping that's the thing that sticks. The concept that everything needs to slow down. We can still get our work done. We can still show up like we're supposed to and meet our obligations, but we don't have to be running full tilt all the time. And that's just too much.
I'm envious of that, to be honest with you. Knowing you guys get to go to work, I don't, which means that little extra money that I was enjoying having come in, I don't get that right now.
Yeah, but but how does your retirement shit?
It won't affect that.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
The only difference is the little bit.
It won't do that either.
Yeah, no, none of that's going to happen, and that's what's annoying. But like I said, I enjoyed that little extra money. We were, I was getting way ahead pretty quickly, and all of a sudden this went down. And I looked at the kids on my school bus, and I'm like, "Hey, good news, bad news." And they go, well, "What's the bad news?" I go, "Well, what's the good news?" I say, "Hey, school's about to. You probably are going to get shut down for a few weeks." And originally, I said 3, and they're like, "Oh, yay!" And I go, "You know what's even better news?" They go, "What?" And I go, "I don't have to look at you for 3 weeks."
Oh, so, damn.
Oh, yeah.